We carry miracles in our pockets. Our phones, our electric cars, and the high-speed data networks connecting us, they all feel like pristine magic. But if you strip away the glass and the software, you are left with 17 obscure elements from the bottom of the periodic table. If those 17 specific elements vanish tomorrow, the global economy would freeze. Consumer electronics become expensive paperweights. Green energy infrastructure collapses. And as this F-35 stealth fighter shows, the military's most advanced machinery literally becomes a blind, unguided brick. We call them rare earth minerals. And right now, the world's major powers are locked in a ruthless, invisible war to control them. That clean, wireless utopia we think we live in is a carefully constructed illusion. It masks a massive, fragile battle for the raw dirt that makes modern life possible. The obsession with this dirt started back in 1787 in a damp quarry in Jitterby, Sweden. An amateur geologist found a strange, heavy black rock there. That single village's quarry ended up yielding 4 entirely new elements. The name rare earths is actually a historical error. These elements are scattered everywhere in the Earth's crust. Even thulium, the absolute scarcest of the bunch, is thousands of times more abundant than gold. 19th century chemists only gave them that label because they found it agonizingly difficult to chemically isolate one element from another. The abundance of the rock is secondary to the mastery of the refining process. Today, the real advantage lies in the industrial infrastructure required to separate these elements from the sludge they reside in. To understand why they're so hard to pull apart, look at this atomic structure. These 17 elements have an incomplete inner electron shell. This asymmetrical layout forces outer electrons to spin in perfect alignment, generating incredibly powerful permanent magnetic fields. This atomic alignment produces immense physical force. A neodymium magnet the size of a coin snaps toward metal with enough pressure to crush human bone. We harness that energy to turn electricity into motion, and motion into electricity. Look at these massive offshore wind turbines. Each one of those machines requires hundreds of kilograms of these precise magnetic elements to function. But here is the curse. The exact same atomic trait that makes them the ultimate battery and motor component also makes them violently cling to each other in the earth. Tearing them apart is a brutal process. The original catalyst for mining these elements was the 1960s color television boom. In this photo, the glowing red on that TV screen was produced by europium. America's obsession with color television built the original Western tech supply chain, dominated by a California mine. But extracting europium and its cousins is filthy work. As you can see in this vast open pit operation, miners have to crush literal mountains of rock and repeatedly bathe the ore in boiling, acidic chemicals just to isolate a few usable ounces. By the late 1990s, facing massive environmental leaks and mounting domestic costs, American companies made a very specific corporate decision. They shut down their domestic refining completely. Instead of upgrading their facilities to handle the toxic runoff safely, Western executives opted for quick profit margins. They outsourced the entire chemical mess to the developing world. In a single decade, the West voluntarily surrendered its grip on the 21st century's most critical resource, simply to avoid cleaning up the dirt in its own backyard. While Western executives looked at the next quarter, Beijing looked at the next century. In 1992, the man in this portrait, Deng Xiaoping, laid out a clear strategy, stating, "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earths." Beijing knew whoever controlled the refining pipeline controlled the market. This chart outlines the process. You dig the mine, run ore through chemical separation, refine it into raw metal, forge that into magnets, and ship it to the factory. Look closely at this second step, chemical separation. Today, China controls roughly 90% of the global infrastructure for this single phase. Moving down the line to magnets, that monopoly holds even stronger. China manufactures 92% of the world's rare earth magnets. This creates an inescapable economic trap. If you dig up rare earth ore in California or Australia, you can't use it. You have to pay to put that heavy dirt on a boat, ship it across the Pacific to a Chinese refinery, and then buy back the finished magnets at a steep premium. Having the rock in your soil means absolutely nothing if you don't own the vats of acid required to process it. This total pipeline dominance has triggered an outright panic in global boardrooms. We are now seeing intense trade wars and export controls as the US, Europe, and Japan scramble to build processing plants to bypass Beijing's bottleneck. Right in the middle of this high-stakes scramble is India. As you can see along this coastline, India sits on massive, largely unutilized reserves of rare earth-rich monazite beach sands. For decades, state monopolies and regulatory tape kept India from utilizing this wealth. But driven by the need to manufacture their own electric vehicles and secure independent defense technologies, New Delhi is actively gutting those old regulations and tearing up the red tape. Nations like India know they are on a ticking clock. They either spend billions right now to turn their local sand into independent chemical pipelines, or they accept technological subservience to Beijing for the next century. The 20th century was defined by the quest for fossil fuels. Now, the foundational resource for AI, quantum computing, and spaceflight has shifted to these 17 specific minerals. Owning this microscopic atomic frontier creates a massive technological gatekeeper. Whoever controls the refining vats decides who builds the next generation of advanced hardware. Despite the speed of our software, the physical hardware of the future remains rooted in the difficult, toxic labor of processing the Earth. We are building a digital world, but we are still bound by the dirt beneath our feet.